Welcome back, nerds. Fino here with a guide for Don Quixote. He's a 4-star story-locked lancer who you gain access to after completing Trom. People really seem to like this guy. Let's find out if it's because he's packing where it counts, or because he's got a nice personality. Don Quixote's first skill is Seasoned Knight's Grand Adventure, a combo of a 3-turn quick and buster buff that comes with guts. Next is Open Door of Dreams. It's a 3-turn personal attack buff, stars per turn, and 10% charge per turn for himself at max level. And he's gonna want that charge for skill the 3rd. Closed Book of Reality requires him to have at least 30% charge. This dumps out 20 stars and grants 30% charge to every other frontliner. However, this comes at an extremely high price. Closed Book eats all of Don Quixote's charge. 30%, 100%, 300%, it's all gone. There's only one scenario where DQ benefits directly from this skill, if he's going in for a big crit turn. Otherwise, it's a lot of downside. Now you might think, well, there are survival servants that could use the charge, and with a 5-turn cooldown, you could repeatedly cash in on this. Hypothetically. But before you get too excited, let's see what Noble Phantasm Quixote is trading this off against. Valiente Asalto Dedicado a la Princesa is a single target quick attack that comes with anti-giant damage, 3 turns of party attack, and an overcharge effect for 3 turns of party crit damage. The nominal downside is that he takes 1000 damage every time he uses it. Taken in a vacuum, this strikes me as Don Quixote's best aspect. While his regular damage isn't particularly impressive, going between Summer Consort U and Kagetora, the anti-giant damage gives him a legitimate use. There are only 3 servants with this effect on their NP: Theseus, David, and Don Quixote. Beowulf has a weaker option on his skill. So if you set up Don Quixote, he could maybe take out the final boss of a 90++ wave. Alternatively, you could use him to fight standalone giant bosses like King Protea, Zhang Yu, or Minotaur. Or maybe just snipe out one of the game's many mid-bosses, most of whom are giants. Now the problem with this is that the idea of Don Quixote as a giant-slaying main attacker and Don Quixote as the selfless charge banker for your team are contradictory. If Alonso is giving all his charge away, he can't exactly leverage his Noble Phantasm. The mechanism of Closed Book is the problem. Because it drains all of his charge no matter what, and because it doesn't fuel him, he can't gain that charge for himself by using it. Compare this to Parvati, whose own targetable battery takes away 10 and gives 20, which means she can gain that charge by using it on herself. I'd argue that skill is undertuned and in need of a buff, and it's leagues ahead of what DQ is working with. If you want to use Don Quixote in the 90++ scenario, not being able to charge himself is a huge problem. Attackers live or die by their access to charge. That said, there is a scenario where you could maybe get away with it. If DQ is responsible for the first enemy in an encounter, he can hypothetically refund enough between Open Door and his NP's hit count to then donate what he has to his teammates. And remember, his Noble Phantasm has party buffs, so you can write off those to pad your team's 2nd and 3rd turn damage. But this asks an awful lot. Unless you're Squirturia, single target refund is a fairly tenuous concept, doubly so for quick attackers. You would need to be operating under favorable circumstances for this to make the smallest modicum of sense. DQ being a quick servant also hampers his supportive uses. Think about it. You'd probably be running in with Scotty, and regardless of which flavor you pick, neither are particularly gracious recipients of the Don's favor. Ruler Scotty is an offensive Noble Phantasm, and if you plan to take advantage of that, you could just run the triple Scotty system instead. Caster Scotty does have a defensive NP, but she's infamously bad at charging herself. Uptime has always been an issue with Gate of Sky. It comes with the territory of having your major battery be a 50% targeted brick. Running DQ with Caster Scotty and hoping to save yourself is a pretty crap game plan. Think of it this way. Quick teams excel at all-out offense, and Don Quixote almost has a kit that's decent for that. The personal buffs, the anti-giant effect, he's almost there, but the deficiencies of his battery stop him from shining in that role. If they wanted to push charge donation as a mechanic, they should have given him a much bigger magnitude. I think 50% per ally for 30% of DQ's health bar is the minimum I'd accept for the skill not being outright shit. For his current values to make sense, I think Don Quixote would have to have been an Arts servant. Arts attackers get more refund for identical NP hit counts, and Arts chains let the party build up charge. In a slower Tamamo team, he'd be able to abuse his low cooldown to feed his teammates charge more often. The Art supports have way more impactful Noble Phantasms, so being a power plant for them has legitimate tactical value. My point is that Don Quixote as a quick lancer didn't have to be a bad thing, but trying to make him both an attacker and a supportive character within the quick card type would have required a much more powerful kit to make him palatable. Doubly unfortunate is that, to this day, he's the last 4-star Lancer added to the game, so he'll be right there at the top of the SR Lancer section to remind you of what could have been. In his present state, Don Quixote is little more than a novelty. Once in a while, you might see a node favorable for his giant-slaying antics, but in general I wouldn't count on him to do much more than gum up your strategy. It's a damn shame. He has a lot of the elements you'd want from a single target Quick Lancer, but it's that last ingredient that fucks it all up. As an attacker, he's effectively working with 2 real skills and the world's most expensive star dump. It'd be an embarrassing state of affairs for a year 1 servant, let alone our most recent Lancer. And you know what the worst part is? This guy takes 60 ceremonial swords per skill. Yeah, no thanks. Thanks for watching, lads. Like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more, and come on to twitch.tv/Finotaisen where I stream every week, 3 p.m. Pacific time, Friday through Sunday. I'll be playing Fate Grand Order, both Trom and the BB Girlfriend, and Saturday is going to be my first foray into Persona 4, so stop on by for a good time. See you there.